watched them. They were kind of funny though.
They were actually kind of funny, and they were dubbed over, so it was kind of.
Some producer bought them and then brought them over.
So were they? Was the original dialogue serious?
No.
And then they dubbed over, and it was.
It couldn't have been
comedy.
It doesn't matter what culture. It's never gonna be serious.
When he jumps out of a building and uses an umbrella as a parachute, it's designed to be a parody.
Salman, I'm kind of judging you on your ability to judge things accurately. Yes, he did use an umbrella to fall off a building.
Hey.
And then he uses like a hat and stuff like that, and doesn't he have like a remote controlled hat at one point in time? So
he kicks people in the crotch a lot to escape. So
it's universal.
Yeah,
it really is universal.
Yeah, but I mean it's about as serious as Schindler's List. So.
Oh, it is. But what would you guys give it? Josh, let's start with you.
Really?
I'll start with you.
I have to give it 5. I got a little bored. Sorry, Solomon.
No, that's all right. That's all right. I will give it 8. I enjoyed it.
I would give it. I'll give it a 6.
Okay.
I think that if they focus more on the Marcos part, or maybe trim that down a little bit, and I think it really comes down to editing. I think is my biggest part.
It just at first I was like, oh, this is cool, and then it just got a little monotonous. Like next story, this.
But
next story, this.
The one thing I found very interesting was watching those films, or watching clips of those films, and listening to the history behind them. You can see where Quentin Tarantino, what he watched.
Oh yeah, you can see rip them off.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my gosh. They even said he dusted off old scripts, and
you took parts of it, didn't he?
Yeah, and utilized some of those scripts for. Movies of his. So found it very interesting.
Well, he's known for that, though. Even like things like Jackie Brown as a rip-off of blaxploitation films.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Kill Bill is old like 70s and 60s samurai films.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, which is fine. I mean, if you're a fan of it, that's what you're gonna do.
Right. But even the Grindhouse, movies.
Oh, Grindhouse is a complete rip-off.
Yeah,
of it.
Totally.
But he's not even really. You can point to Grindhouse and say that it's more supposed to be a homage, kind of like, hey, we kind of miss this kind of film to be. Mm-hmm. It's not really done anymore, but really.
The one where the guy had his arm taken off, that's totally the one with, Rose McGowan.
Oh, Planet Terror.
Planet Terror, yeah. So.
That was the better of the two, but that was Rodriguez though.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I like Tarantino movies. I mean, because I wouldn't probably watch a lot of these old movies. I know you like the old B movies, but I'm just not that into it. So, but Tarantino's version of it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's good. So,
I've never been a big Tarantino guy. I don't know why. I've enjoyed Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs and Jackie Brown. And people are always like, what's your favorite? I was like, Jackie Brown, probably. I was like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the line that Samuel L. Jackson says.
Soundtrack to Jackie Brown.
It's great.
That's why
some of the acting in Jackie Brown, I think, brings it down. But I just rhymed.
You should run the rest of the movie.
Hey, me too. And also listening to myself as I talk was like really weird.
You were slowing yourself down. So we said 5, 8, and 6.
Thumbs, yes. And finally, my pick.
Josh's pick, which will be
Winnebago Man.
Winnebago Man. I've been wanting to see this one for a long time, actually. And I don't know why I didn't see it earlier, because it's great.
I think the last third is the best part.
And why is that, Josh Flowers?
Because the narrator wasn't
exactly.
as much. Oh, he was
the
like...
whole time he's like, I want this guy to shut up.
He was like trying to be like This American Life and just involve himself in the story. He had no part in the story. Like, he should not have been in that story. It wasn't about him searching for Winnebago Man. It shouldn't have been anyway.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But no, I liked it. It was had some really funny parts. And
what do you think, Solomon?
I liked it at first, going into the movie.
But you're just getting back at me. I didn't like your movie.
No, I really liked Winnebago Man. Going into the movie, I'm wanting to not like this particular character, thinking, wow, I've gone
Who's that? The narrator or the director or Jack Rebney?
Jack Rebney.
Saw yourself a little too much in him?
Yeah. I need to be nicer to people.
Like you in traffic?
Jack Rebney.
But, I'm thinking, wow, I've encountered people on shoots like this. And I'm really wanting not to like him.
That's true. We're all part of video. And that guy it would have been the worst week of our lives.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We could not have enjoyed this movie. Like, no, that guy should burn.
But going into it, the further you get into the movie, you see, you know, he's a person, and there were things that he saw within the industry that he didn't like.
Well, because he was a news director for years.
Correct. And I really liked it. I really enjoyed his honesty. He was just a very open and honest person. He told people what he felt, how he felt, and it was just, this is him.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that, and I really enjoyed that. So
I guess I should have explained that it's based on the old viral video on YouTube of outtakes of this spokesperson for Winnebago.
Yeah.
Just going off. Just everything. Like, he swears a lot.
Yeah.
Which,
I always make it show, but I'm afraid to show. Cause
yeah, we would have to censor a lot of it. But just
I mean, if we
about,
do this on YouTube, it'd probably be all right, but I don't want to, you know.
about
Right.
flies being in the shot.
We can link it, I guess. Like, we'll put a link up on the
He
screen.
keeps yelling about Tony. Like, Tony.
Yeah.
Tony the intern.
Don't shut the door.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Could you do me a kindness?
Yeah, it was.
Could you do me a kindness?
You could do me a kindness.
I
Yeah.
love that. I remember watching it years ago. So when I saw this coming out, I was like, I didn't think he'd be alive, and I have to see this.
Yeah.
So. I give it. I'll give it 7 out of 10 thumbs.
Well, I like the fact that it was kind of broken down into 3 parts. It was the first part kind of explaining it, and then explaining kind of the outcome and downside to being a viral video star, I guess you could say.
Right.
Like the Star Wars kid, or the other. I forgot the other guy's name was, but he was.
I would see the Star Wars Kid documentary.
Because they haven't done it really.
I really would, because that poor kid.
Well, he shouldn't have went into the school
Well,
wherever.
but, you know, at
and-
the same
First
time,
question:
shot
Do
that.
you still like Star Wars?
That's
That's the first question I would ask him.
It's true. Oh, you were asking me there for a second. I was like,
First question, Josh. Do you still? Josh was actually the Star Wars kid. Everybody.
shut up. I liked how the first part of it was kind of broken
I
down.
want to see you do the Star Wars kid.
I'm not gonna
now.
do the Star Wars guy.
He has a lightsaber in the back. Practices with.
If you actually go in the lobby over here, there's actually a like a long tube that I've walked by and go, I just want to do a bow thing with that so badly.
But the internet would make fun of me
And
again.
they're making fun of me.
There's a
But
camera in that hallway too. Just an FYI.
you keep cameras in that hallway?
Cliff does.
Cliff doesn't know me. But yeah, I liked how the first part of it was kind of all about the downsides of viral videos and everybody kind of talking about it, and then you kind of see it a couple times. And then the second part is kind of him finally finding him, finding Jack Rebney. And then the third part is kind of almost, because it was kind of...
Jack Ribney just totally takes over that third.
He really
part.
does, and he almost takes part in the second part, because it was almost kind of cool how he's like, he meets up with him for the first time, and he's like, oh yeah, I know the show, I know the video, it's kind of funny. He was like this really calm old man, you know, just kind of living near this really calm, like in the mountains in California, enjoying life. He's got a dog. He's like takes care of like a cabin, and then he gets a phone. Like the guy goes to him, he's like, I was like, this movie over already? Because it was like he kind of wrapped it up, and then
Right.
and all of a sudden it shows him on the phone. And he's like, yeah, that wasn't me in that movie video at all. You know,
He was
like,
just messing with them.
yeah, he
Yeah.
was messing with him totally.
It was crazy.
He was just like, and he's like, the funniest part was he was like a cantankerous old man, but he was like all against Dick Cheney.
Oh,
And he was like,
yeah.
he's like these. And the other part was how surprisingly verbose and like he had such a immaculate vocabulary.
Oh God, yeah.
And it was like it was just like he was regularly talking, where I'd have to sit there and go, what was the word, you know? And he was just like, oh, I don't know. And it was like this, and him and his friend, he was like, hey, boobski.
I love his friend.
That's actually that's the actual line from the movie.
Yeah, he was just like,
So,
hey, boobski, what's up, buddy?
And he loved his
He wasn't that
wine.
deep in his voice though. But yeah, I mean, it ended up being how heartwarming that character was, and how like almost kind of it was a redemptive. It was what I liked about it was the fact that you get a redemption for a person that's viral video, and you get to see the side of the person finally. It was
Right.
like, you know, he's just a guy that's kind of wants his voice heard, and is kind of has to deal with this image of himself, and he is still kind of cantankerous in a way, but you know he's cantankerous in politics. And that was the other funny thing too, was he's always trying to be like, he was just like, look, I'm not going to talk about the video. I'm not going to talk about the video. And he's like, I want to talk about Dick Cheney and how he's ruining blah, 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 blah. And it was like...
He really hated Dick Cheney.
Yeah, and the funny thing was, like...
Yeah.
I was sitting there watching the film, and I was like, he's going to go into this... Because they were what? San Diego?